Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lewis here with Crypto Elite, and today's date is Wednesday, April 6th, 2022. It's time for another market update. First off, just want to apologize for having the delay in this market update. I'm currently working on a system on researching different cryptocurrencies to hopefully get us into them early and get us into trending cryptos so that we could get in and ride the waves. And I just spent way too much time on it on Monday and Tuesday. So that's why this market video is coming out today. But we should just get right into it because there is a lot to cover. As you could see right here, Bitcoin did, go up quite substantially, got rejected off the EMAs. I really am not liking this move. I was hoping that it was going to be range bound right between the support and the resistance and the EMAs, and then alts would just, skyrocket up from there, and then we would continue our way up. But it is looking like it is closing down. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. However, first things first, we got to go over all the fundamental stuff that I always go over. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing that I look at is the CBBI. That is the Bitcoin Bull Run Index. It's currently at 38. If we scroll down, you could see that it is, it's a lot higher than what it was a few weeks ago, or not a lot, but it was at 34, 35 a few weeks ago when we were more near the bottom, when Bitcoin was at like 38,000 level. And when Bitcoin was even at 35, the CBBI was at 36, when Bitcoin was at 35,000, more closer to the bottom, the CBBI was at 36, and now it's only at 38. So that doesn't seem very good to me. I feel like it should be moving higher, but it's not. And that it sort of falls in line with what's happening right now. There's a lot of things happening in the world. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up a tweet that I saw that really puts things into perspective. So it was this one right here by Gainsey. He said, supply chain globally is effed. Food, gas, rent, all of these things are skyrocketing amidst a mutating pandemic. Debatable, whatever, because at this point, what's happening? I'm not going to get into it. But then there's also geopolitical tension, and all of this stuff is happening after a massive 2-year bull market. Not great. And then I wrote, and yet the market doesn't care. Many coins up 40 to 80% over the past 2 weeks. Bullish market structure breaks across the board. Daily bullish crossovers all across the place. And maybe everyone thinking the world is doomed is why the markets are pushing higher. That whole max pain thing. Basically, it definitely caused me max pain because I was not expecting the markets to move up over the last couple weeks. And they definitely obviously did, or at least for a lot of different altcoins like Near and of course Luna with the Ponzi economics that's going on, and same thing with Waves, another complete absolute scam of a coin, and scam Ponzi economics, tokenomics, whatever you want to say. There's a lot of these things happening. And then there's this one called Step In, or GMT, which is literally nothing more than simply a tracker that tracks your how far you run and walk and exercise and stuff. There's a million of them on the market, and somehow this one comes on the market and does a 300% gain in like 2 weeks. It makes absolutely no sense, and especially considering what's happening, what all of these things that Gainsey went over. Plus, we just had this massive 2-year bull market. Plus, we have, of course, Crypto Weatherman talking about this fake melt up, pretty much, where it is, which is actually a technical, I guess you could say it's a technical term. A melt up is when there is a lot of skyrocketing prices, but with little volume behind it, and also little reasoning behind it. I think the reasoning behind the melt up that we had, or that we're having currently, maybe not right now today specifically, because obviously all of these coins are in the red, as you could see right here. But when it comes to the melt up that we've had over the past couple of weeks, it was mostly because Do Kwon from Terra Luna, mentioned that he was buying $10 billion worth of Bitcoin using some mechanism by burning his own coin. And it's funny. It's like unfortunate because I personally think that is a total like, it's not a total scam, but it's very scammy. It's very Ponzi like. It makes no sense to me how someone could create a token out of thin air and then all of a sudden have that token have billions, be worth billions and billions of dollars, have a valuation of billions of dollars. Okay. And then he says, I'm going to burn that token to create UST, basically US dollars. And then I'm going to buy Bitcoin with that US dollars. You know, unless Terra Luna is like the biggest thing in the entire crypto space in the world, then I don't totally understand it. I'll do more research into it, but yeah, it just seems like totally something that doesn't seem very sustainable at all. So that falls in line with the whole melt up theory of the market moving up on no real basis and then eventually crashing down hard. And so we'll get into that in a minute, but for this, you could see the price. It's been very green, and we're gonna just get back into this fundamental stuff right now. So we have the CBBI. It's up here. What I was really hoping for was, honestly, after, what do you call it? The November high of 70,000, 69,000, right? I was expecting it to come back down and then the CBBI to eventually hit somewhere underneath 20, I don't know if it's ever really going to get down to where it was in 2018, 2019, or if it's ever going to get down to where it was prior to that. 2015, it was at a 6, a 5, it was at a 2 in January of 2015, and it was at a 10 or a 9 in 2011. But the market is so different right now that I really don't see it coming down below. Honestly, like this was the lowest I could see it is a 13, or what I want to say is that a 13 on the CBBI happened literally during the midst of the pandemic. Like, as soon as the most fear around the pandemic happened, and when the president got the virus and all of that happened, it dropped. All of the markets dropped, and this was the bottom. Obviously, that day was the bottom, which also goes to show that whenever there's a pandemic, whenever there's a war, whenever there's a crazy crash in the market due to some fundamental worldwide news, I don't know what's going to happen next, what the next thing is going to be, but like, if something happens and it's like literally the worst type of news you could imagine, that has historically been the absolute best time to buy. Okay, because think about it. Literally a couple weeks ago, or a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago, Russia declared that they're invading the Ukraine, right? And then the war was literally on, and it said, Russia's invading Ukraine. There's a war. We're on the brink of World War III, right? When that happened, the markets crashed. Even though they didn't really crash that much, they did crash, and that was the bottom. Okay, now think back to the last bottom. The president got the virus. The virus is going all over the place, and all of a sudden, and the news was literally saying that so many people were dying every single day. By the way, where did that go? Like, did the coronavirus just magically disappear? I hope I don't get banned for saying that or demonetized or something like that. But like, seriously, there's no more news on it whatsoever. And yet it was like the biggest thing. And like, what changed? I don't get it. But back here, this is when it really, really struck, was back in March of 2020, right? And there was a huge crash. That was the best time to buy. That was literally the best time to buy. Before that, in January 2019 or December 2018, I don't even know like what happened here, but there was something that most likely, I'm guessing, happened, and obviously there was a crash, and then obviously that was the bottom. And before that, there was, in the crypto space at least, there was Mt. Gox, and that crashed the market. So it's just like all of these crashes. One thing that I do want to say though is that recently, and this is one reason why I'm actually more bullish right now, is because there's been a lot of hacks, and by hacks I mean like major hacks. Let me actually put it up on the screen. Okay, so you could see right here, hackers stole more than $600 million in crypto. And this was from the Axie Infinity game. It wasn't like from the actual game itself. It was from it was due to a blockchain that runs the Axie Infinity and a bridge, and like it was sort of complicated, but whatever. They stole it. They stole $600 million, right? And this was like, if this happened during a bear market, we would see the price go down so significantly. And yet the price for Axie did not really go down. Like it dropped like slightly, and then it had this huge run up. So I don't want to mess this up. One second. So yeah, here you could see, the Axie Infinity chart, and that hack happened literally all the way back here. It happened back here, and people found out about it, somewhere around here, somewhere up here. And normally, like, if there's a hack of this magnitude during a bear market, the price just drops absolutely insane. Yeah, the price is dropping today, sure, like the whole market is, but this happened after the hack. It makes absolutely no sense. And there's been a lot of these things recently where the price should go down, but like it's not. And that does make me pretty bullish. Although we're getting market structure breaks to the downside now, so after today, so I'm probably going to end up selling some if there is a bounce back up to, my entries, or if there's a bounce back up, to a significant amount. And I'm going to get into the charts later. But yeah, like it's like I was bearish. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. So it's like I was bearish here, and then I was bullish right here. Okay, so I bought here because we had the breakout, and then we had this is a bullish breakout because it broke the market structure, and then it came back down. It's like, okay, buy it here, buy it here, buy it here, and then obviously we started going back up. It was so awesome, and then we fell back down. So this was a false breakout, and then of course we had another false breakout right here. So I didn't want to get wrecked again, so I didn't buy, and then obviously we crashed back down. And now it's like, okay, so we finally got a real breakout right here because this is the market structure broke to the upside, and obviously it broke above all of these previous highs, and it sustained it. I don't like the fact that it's coming back down, and if it closes back down, like that's not good at all. And I could totally see 42K as the next spot, even though 42K isn't like too far away. It's only 4 to 5% away from where we are right now. So I'd rather be a buyer there, because a lot of times when we get a market structure break to the upside, my game plan is buy at the 61.8 of the move from the bottom to the top, and that's a 61.8. So I bought some here because this was the SR flip, and then I bought a little bit more at 44K, and I want to buy more at 42K, which is the 61.8, because this could just be a higher low. I mean, look, we got a low, then we got a higher low, then we got, I guess you could call this another higher low, and then now we have this, like we have the bullish break. So maybe we'll get another higher low, and it'll just continue moving up like that. That's what I'm banking on. I do like the fact that you could see the RSI and stochastic RSI are dipping very, very, very hard, because that means that if it does come into this 42K area, that the RSI and stochastic RSI will be in the oversold territory, which means that I'm going to, scoop it up at a nice discount, hopefully. And I also like how, the MACD is going downward. Obviously, that doesn't really tell you anything right now, but if the price does go down and the MACD is all the way down, then maybe it'll pop back up. And obviously, it's like you want to buy on the MACD when you can't see it because of this stupid thing. So give me 1 second. Let me do this and then do that. So you want to buy on the MACD. Where is it? Here it is. When it's in the red, and then it starts like the very first time that it moves up. Or if it's in the red and you have a W, let's see if I could find a W, like W, and then like this is one. Let me do this. Boom. This is 1, and then there is 2 right here. And so you either want to buy like right here, or you want to buy as it continues to go up, and then you want to buy like right there, like basically right here if you're using the MACD. You don't want to buy if the MACD is up here, right? This is when you don't want to buy. So the fact that it is lower right now or it's going lower, makes it get closer to the point where I would want to buy, if all of that makes sense, hopefully. So let's go back into the fundamental stuff, and then we'll get into the charts. Okay, so I went back to the CBBI chart, and I took a picture of it, and I drew this line right here. And you know what? I said previously that if the CBBI reaches 15 or below, maybe it was even 10 or below in my notes, that it was an automatic buy for me. I'm just going to buy it, and like I'm just going to buy Bitcoin, and I'm not going to really, care. I'm just going to buy it and wait it out. But I'm going to change that up now, because this is on the 20. This is the 20 line. And I just don't know. I really don't know if we're going to see the CBBI come back down to 10. I mean, it's like this time is different thing, everyone always says it. But I do feel like if Bitcoin does come down and the CBBI gets to 20, then Bitcoin will most likely be at a really good price. Obviously, if I don't want to just say if this comes down to 20, I'm going to automatically buy it, because if Bitcoin it depends what price Bitcoin is, but I might do it just because this seems to be a fairly significant level, and it's really hard to see. It's really hard to see Bitcoin or the CBBI going this low again, even during a crazy pandemic, even if there's some black swan event. So I'm changing it up, and if this gets to 20, it's going to be an automatic buy from me. Okay, so the next thing that I look at is the Pi cycle indicator, and this is just simply something that tells you if it's the top or not. Obviously, it's not the top. It's not anywhere close to the top, because in order to get to the top, or in order to be the top, you have to be at all-time highs, and we're nowhere near all-time highs. So this isn't really telling you anything, but I always like to look at it, just in case. So we have that. I'm going to exit out of that. And then we have the MVRVZ score. So for the MVRVZ score, as soon as it hits 8, then I exit half of every position that I have, and as soon as it hits 8.5, I'm going to exit all markets, and as soon as it hits the green, which is 0, then I enter and I hodl. So for this one, it is not in the green, or it's not near 0, so I am not, going all in, doing anything crazy, and it's nowhere near 8 or 8.5, so I'm not exiting any markets. I'm just being like super cautious, or at least fairly cautious right now. And as I feel like most people really should. I mean, it sort of sucks. This is like the period of the market that is really confusing, really sucks. Most people just lose all of their money. I mean, I already lost a small portion, probably like 7% so far. And so I'm really trying to keep as much as I can, and I really don't want to just get chopped up or have the markets tell me one thing and then go another way. The only thing I could really do is just play level to level, and so that's what I do in these charts. I just plot it out level to level, and you gotta be quick. The thing about right now is that in these market conditions, you really sort of have to be quick, because there's so much risk in it just like tanking, that if you're not really quick with it, then you could be making like serious money. You could buy at the bottom, and then the price can move up, but then before it hits your take profit level, it could turn around like that and then head all the way down, and then you get stopped out. And that has happened to me so many times. So really the focus that I want to have is to try to take my profits as early as possible, or is like be super conservative with my I guess be super aggressive. I don't know which one it would be when it comes to taking profits. I guess if you're aggressive in taking profits, you want to take them very like quickly, you want to get into them, or if you're super conservative with taking profits, then it would be lower. It's conservative, yeah. So I want to be super conservative with taking my profits and have them set lower than normal, because I just like right now, if you're profitable, that's good. Okay. So that's all that matters. If you're profitable, that's all that matters. So that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, looking at this, there's no real information you could glean from this. So the next thing that I look at after the MVRVZ score is the R hodl ratio. And I said, as soon as it hits the upper bound of 1, I'm going to exit my positions. As soon as it hits 3/4 of the way, then I'm going to, exit more. It's nowhere near there. Exit another 1/2 of what you have in the market. If it reaches the green zone, consider buying heavy. So looking at the R hodl ratio, yeah, it's not in the green zone. So I am not buying heavy, and we're just having this huge downturn. It does, looking at this thing does look like it should like turn around and move back up and then crash really like really hard. But then again, look at this, from 2017, or excuse me, January 2018 all the way down, it never shot up. Even back here, it went all the way down, and like, yeah, it shot up for like just a short period of time. But really it got the top and then got the bottom, got the top, got the bottom. Back here, it did have this bounce, but right here, it got the bottom, it didn't get the top, and who knows if it's going to get the bottom or not. But these are just indicators. Like, I'm using them and because it's very objective, so it's super easy to say, like, right when it gets here, like if it enters the green zone, I'm buying. And so that's why I like using these. But obviously there's not too much you could do, because this is right in the middle, and that's why we're going to have to look at the charts. Next up, I use the rainbow chart. As soon as it hits maximum bubble territory, I sell half of every position. And as soon as it touches the basically fire sale, I buy everything and hodl. So that is this one right here. We are currently in the still cheap territory. So we're not in the basically fire sale, or even in the, buy exclamation point territory. Even the accumulate, we're not even there. We're in the still cheap. So that's, yeah, I mean, that it does make sense. It's cheap. It is cheap because, it hit $70,000. And if we're at $40,000 or $44,000, that's a lot cheaper than 70. So it is cheap. But obviously this doesn't tell you much either, because it's right in the middle. Maybe we'll get to something that does tell you something. Fear and greed index under 15 is an automatic buy for me. Over 75, I start scaling out, unless we're in a full blown bull market or something like that. So right now it's at 48. This was from 8 hours ago. And I guess we could also click the actual button just to make sure where it's at. 48. Yeah. Okay. So it's at 48. It's been 48, 48, 53, 53. Makes sense. That's 48 right now because we did just dump. 53, 53, 52, 52. So it's like neutral, right in the middle. Really speaks to the market sentiment of the overall market. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? A lot of people on the sidelines. A lot of people, aping in. A lot of people right here. A lot of people right here. I am probably somewhere right here for now. Although, like in the bigger picture, I think we're gonna come up and then drop pretty hard. So we have that. And the next thing that I look at is I actually look at the Glassnode YouTube channel, and I try to gauge based off of their videos, like their recent videos, what's happening on chain, because they do a really good job breaking down on chain metrics. I'll probably start looking at on chain metrics more, but it's not really something that I find to be totally useful. I guess it's useful for macro stuff, but for regular, just regular everyday understanding of Bitcoin and like the price and cryptocurrencies and the price and trading, I don't know. I just don't really think it's the best thing, but maybe I don't know for sure, or someone has a better way of using it. But I do like looking at these videos. So I'm gonna watch this video. And I'll tell you if there's anything important or anything that I find really interesting in it. Okay, so this is actually something really interesting that I'm looking at, or that I saw in here, which is that the Bitcoin exchange net position change, as you could see, it has been primarily been outflows just continuing since March 2020, since the low, since the very bottom in March 2020. It's saying that people are buying Bitcoin and then taking it off the exchange and just holding on to it. Just more and more and more people are doing that, or it's happening in greater and greater and greater numbers. Okay, now compare this, and this is why I'm almost saying, like, okay, maybe this time is different. Maybe we aren't going to see this 80% correction, and maybe that's why I would much rather buy. At first I was saying 28K. It was either 26. No, it's 26,000. That's where I wanted to buy, but clearly we didn't get there. We stopped at 33,000 before moving back up. So at first I said 28, and then we stopped at 33, and now we've been having this run up to 44 for basically $11,000 gain in Bitcoin. And maybe it'll drop back down, but honestly, if it drops back down, I would want to get into it at 33 now. I wouldn't even want to wait, because it might be different this time, because before March 2020, primarily the Bitcoin was moving from hard wallets or from wallets onto the exchanges. Typically what that means is that people put it onto the exchanges to cash out. There's no point in putting it onto the exchanges unless you're going to either cash out or you're going to use the Bitcoin to buy altcoins. And since this, look at how crazy this has been. Before here, there's only been two significant events, in 2017 and 2018, where the outflow was so much, right? And now it's just consistent outflow. It's like exchanges can't even really keep up with the demand. It's like the demand for buying and holding Bitcoin and putting it into wallets is getting so great, and it's consistently been great since 2020, which has been the opposite of what it's been since before 2020. So that is a very bullish case for the long run of why just buying and holding. It's because, and you know what I think? I think this is like institutions. I think the institutions realize this. Michael Saylor, of course, realizes this. This is when Michael Saylor started doing it. And now we have Do Kwon with the Luna Foundation buying it and holding it. And we have all of these companies buying and holding. We have all of these hedge fund managers, all these people that are buying and holding Bitcoin and bringing it off the exchanges. So that's, to me, that's pretty significant. Okay, and then the other thing is the total balance in accumulation addresses and the number of accumulation addresses. So an accumulation address is an address where the Bitcoin is simply sent to and it's not spent. Like, these are the institutions, these are the companies, these are the hedge funds, or the Do Kwon, the people who are buying and holding it, because they're not selling it. They're not bringing it back onto the exchanges. They bring it into the wallet, and then it just stays in the wallet. And you could see up and to the right for years now, and especially after, right here, we just had this huge run up, and now we're starting to get it up a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because everyone's always saying, yeah, don't buy Bitcoin, or they're saying buy altcoins. And it's like, yes, I understand altcoins will pop off and they can make you rich. But like, I don't know, there's a big part of me that is like, look, these are what the big, like, multi-billion dollar institutions and players are doing. They're buying Bitcoin. Like, they're not buying these little altcoins. And I understand the dynamics of how, obviously they have a lot of money. They want to be more secure with it. But like, also, what's a really good thing to do is to simply buy in the real world, the S&P 500, and just buy the index like year after year, just dollar cost average into the index and just forget about it. And if you did that, you do very, very well over a long enough period of time. And like, so personally, I think if you just dollar cost average into Bitcoin and, probably also Ethereum over a long enough period of time, you're going to do really, really, really well and eliminate so much risk. So that's why I do have an account where I just like buy Bitcoin nonstop and I never touch it ever. So I mean, that's something that I have. I'm not saying that you should do it, but it's definitely something to consider. And actually, speaking of that, the very next slide that he had was the entity's supply distribution. Basically, like 0 to 1 Bitcoin wallets with under 1 Bitcoin, wallets with 1 to 10 Bitcoin, and other more different variations of wallets you can see right here. And what's in this video is the distribution of wallets that have under 10 Bitcoin. So basically, what people call the shrimp in the Bitcoin world. And this is actually going up and to the right. So there are a lot of people with under 10 Bitcoin. So not, institutions or like these big players that are buying millions and millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, but the average person is buying this. And I believe he said it's about 14% of the different entities in the supply distribution for Bitcoin is within this 1 to 10 per 1 to 10 Bitcoin in their wallets, which is very cool. Okay, so now we finally can go into the charts, look at the total market cap, look at the total altcoin market cap, look at Bitcoin, the dominance levels, Ethereum, and altcoins. So we're going to do that right now. We are experiencing a little bit of a drop right now, but as I've explained before, I am still bullish because we still have been getting higher lows across the board, plus we got the market structure break. So let me explain to you why I am still bullish, at least for the short term, and what my game plan is and what I'm thinking. Okay, first things first, total market cap. This is all of the market cap of all of cryptocurrency put together, right? So you could see that back in November 9th, November 10th, that was really the top. And we have been getting lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, and along with these lower highs, low, lower low, lower low, lower low, and then a lower low, right? And we also got a lower high right here, a lower high right here. But then right here, let me do this. Right here, we got a higher low. This was the first higher low that we've gotten since really the top, low, 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 low. Yeah, it's just been getting lower and lower and lower. Finally, we got a higher low. So now it's like, okay, this was the higher low. What's going on here? Maybe things are a little bit bullish. I don't know yet. We need to get a higher high in order for it to really do it. Right here, we did not get a higher high. We got a lower high. So that means that this is now becoming a consolidation zone right here. Okay. Then we have to think to ourselves, well, we got the higher low, and then we got the lower high. So now it's a consolidation zone. So if we get a lower low from right here, if we close below this, then that's pretty dang bad, and will most likely fall lower. However, if it's a fake breakdown and it closes below here and then it pops back up, closes below here and then pops back up, then we'll know like that's super bullish. It did not do either of those things. It literally closed exactly on where the previous low was, right? So we got the higher low and then we got the equal low. So very confusing, very like oh no, what's going to happen, right? Then we got this lower high, which is an indication of, if you even want to call this a lower high. I didn't, because it was just one day up, one day down. And so I did not end up, using this as a validation or invalidation point. I used this right here. But anyway, if you counted it as a lower high, it was a lower high and then it came right back down. So the fact that this was just one day up and then it came and it retraced all the way back down, that was super bearish for me. So this was extremely bearish right here. And then the next day it did close down. And this really was very shocking. The fact that on March 13th and March 14th, this was the bottom, and it ended up actually going like popping up higher because of the fact that we popped up high. And normally when you pop up high, what happens is you get the, you get the move up, and then you get the move down, but the move down is literally like to the 61.8, maybe the 78.6. However, like this, however, if it retraces all the way back down, like then this is still the support, but it's not as powerful because it's like a battering ram. Every single time it gets hit over and over and over and over again, it eventually can bust and go all the way down and break through even further, right? So the fact that this right here went up and then came all the way back down to support, that was really bearish. So this move up is honestly it's been pretty shocking, and I was waiting for this to break. So finally we did get this break, and first I wanted to get it in the retest right here. I wanted to get in at the 38.2. Didn't happen. But now I could get in at the 38.2 right here. So right now is a good time to get in, or the 61.8. And that's usually how I do it. I do it either at 38.2 or a little bit at 38.2 and then a little bit more at the 61.8 after a bullet market structure break. Because we did break through this right here. This was the high that we needed to break through, either here or I guess you could say right here. But if you're counting the wicks, and we did. So until we make a lower low, then this is short-term bullish. And we could very easily come down to the 61.8, like something like that, and then pop back up, or because this would make a higher low right here, equal low right here, higher low right here, and then higher high. The thing to keep in mind though is that overall we are in somewhat of a bearish type of pattern. Like there are a couple different ways to think about it. You could think of this as maybe something like that. Just kidding, sort of, but not really. Head and shoulders. But some people can see this as bearish. So what I would really want to do is use the 61.8 as my zone to really exit the markets or short the markets or just like chill out. And I'm pretty bullish up until then. I mean, we got 3 weeks of bullish continuation. That doesn't really happen in a bear market. In bear market, we get 3 bearish candles. In a bullish market, you usually get 3 bullish candles. Maybe we get a retrace and then shot back up. This is 3 right here. This is 3 right here, and then a retrace, shot back up, right? Where is there? I guess you could say September 2021. There was 3 bearish candles in a row, even though this one isn't totally bearish. I don't know. It's just I'm more bullish, but I'm bullish up until the 61.8 because this is huge. This is really huge. Obviously, boom, boom, right here again. So there's definitely going to be at least a very, very, very high probability. There's no definites in this world, but there's a very high probability that this could be the top for the crypto market up here. And, let's say by the time that happens, this could come all the way and be very overextended as well. Okay, so Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour. Look, I need to put this. Actually, give me 1 second. I need to put this into my VIP real quick. Okay, now I could get back to this. Sorry, I had to post it on my in my Discord. So it's like, look at this. Look at so here's the first thing to do. Look at the higher time frame, right? So you'll go to the weekly, and what do you see? What do you see at the weekly? You see that this right here, I guess you could call this little section right here. Even looking back here, boom, support, 4 supports, 5 supports. And then it broke it, and then it became resistance right here, and then you could say that this is resistance right here again, and it just could never break it on the weekly, right? So we tapped it, And now and now we're moving up. So I like that on the weekly. It's a very big support. And the other thing to look at is, are we moving up? Well, yes. Up, down, up, which was the break of the market structure. And now we're moving back down. Okay. And where are we right now? Where did it bounce from right now? It bounced from this area, which is the support resistance flip, right? Okay. Then the next logical move is a move up, either straight to back to where we just were, or hopefully up here. Once we get this, maybe we'll get something. Who knows what we'll get again? But what I'm really banking on is that we get up to this level up here. This is actually a little bit too high. It needs to be lower. But I'm guessing 52 to 55,000, anywhere up here. Once it gets to 52K, I'm going to be selling mostly everything, because I think that it's just too risky. But this right here is like, look, I missed out. I missed out on this. Not because I didn't buy because I missed out, but because I was waiting for a retrace, and we didn't get a retrace. Well, we got the retrace, or we are getting the retrace right now. So you know what? I'm buying. All right. But I'm not going to be buying Bitcoin per se. I'm buying alts, because Bitcoin is down 3.6 to 3.7%. Altcoins are down 7%, 6%, 7%, 15%, 7%, 6%. 10% for VET, 7%. So Bitcoin's down basically 3.5. Alts are down twice as much, at around 7%, 8%, 10%, 11%. So I'm going to be buying altcoins, because when Bitcoin ranges and when Bitcoin moves up, altcoins tend to move up too. And a lot of altcoins, Bitcoin went up. Let's do this right here. Boom. Like from here to here, 25, 26, even from the bottom, 37%. Let's actually do it 44%. Okay, 44% for Bitcoin from the bottom. Near from the bottom has literally went up 150%. So you could see the contrast, the difference between altcoins and Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is down and it's hitting a very key level. I'm going to be buying altcoins to do better, because I believe that altcoins will do better than Bitcoin. So actually, let's go back to Near. Near was on a run. So maybe Near will be the one to, maybe you should buy Near, because really you want to buy the things that are moving. It's pretty, Near, it's probably going to keep on going up, let's be honest here. But maybe there's something that has a better Solana, possibly. Let's check Solana, maybe from here to here. 38 point, it's pretty much 38.2, and this is a SR flip. So let me do this. Let me actually do this real quick. I might end up buying it. Look at Solana. All right, here's the SR flip. It's the 38.2. Yeah, you can't really that's a classic. Yeah, it's a classic retest of this previous high. All right, I guess I'm buying Solana. Okay, so I actually just went and bought a whole ton of different cryptocurrencies, because I do think that we're going to move up. And going back to Bitcoin real quickly, you could see that if we go to the 4-hour chart, we're actually also getting bullish divergences in the RSI and stochastic RSI, which means that back here, when we got this initial low, the RSI and stochastic RSI were way, way, way down at around 9 to 10. And now the price action went down even further and created a lower low, all while the RSI and stochastic RSI, or at least the RSI itself, is at about a 13, 14 right now, instead of a 9 or 10 of where it was before. So the RSI is higher than where it was before, but the price is lower. That means that there's a discrepancy, and that the momentum is actually moving more into the bullish side. So that is a very good buy indicator. And also the MACD on the 4 hours is also showing a bullish divergence. So you could see back here, same exact price action. The price was low, and then it created a lower low, while the MACD created a low and then a higher low. So there's a divergence between the MACD, or the indicator, both the MACD and the RSI, and the price itself. And the MACD and the RSI are indicators that show the momentum. And so the fact that the indicators are higher now than what they were before shows that the momentum is actually gaining. And when I say momentum, I'm talking about bullish or bearish. So the higher it is, obviously, the more bullish it is. It's very, very bullish up here. It's very bearish down here. But once you get that divergence, like what we have right here and right here, then that's how you could put it together and really understand whether or not to buy, or whether or not it's the best timing to buy. And of course, we could go lower because just going back to the daily chart, we did fall below and close below this pretty significant level of basically 4,400, right? This 4,400 zone. So a lot of people may say, okay, we fell below it, so now we're going to come back up, retest it for what, the 1, 2, 3, 4, for the 5th time now, and then we're going to fall back down. And I will say that is definitely a possibility of us doing that. However, I'm still bullish enough to buy right now. And also, I noticed on Quant Network, one of my other favorite cryptocurrencies, the same thing. We came down, we hit the 61.8, and then we started to come back up. And on the 4-hour, the RSI was about a 25, and right now it's about a 26, or maybe I need this to actually come up a little bit more. Yeah, so it was a 25.4, and now it's a 25.8. So not the biggest divergence there, but still a divergence in the fact that the price was so much higher beforehand. And I'm sure a lot of people are panicking right now, given that it's such a red day. So yeah, prices might dip further, but the fact that we just had a pretty significant drop during this more so of a bullish macro structure break is making me buy. So I bought Bitcoin, I bought Quant Network, I bought Solana, I bought KDA. I like KDA right now because if you look at it, you could see that this is the major support, and we're literally what, like 6%, about, let's say 6% away from the major support, which is not far enough. It's close enough for me to buy and be comfortable. Plus, we have the diagonal support. Diagonals are iffy. They're always iffy because you never know. You could change the diagonal all the time, but we are close to the diagonal as well. Plus, it could, if it does stop here, or even goes a little bit further, a few percent, like 1 or 2% down lower, it could create a higher low, which would fall in line with this low to this higher low to this higher low. So I'm getting like 5 indicators showing me that we should move up from around this area on Bitcoin, on Quant Network, on KDA, on the other coins that I bought. And I'm getting one indicator, or I guess one price action showing that we are going to go down. So I will take the 5-to-1 odds. And even if we do go down, I'm going to be okay with that because I'm basing my buys off of solid technical analysis, and I'm not FOMOing in or really doing anything too ridiculous. I'm simply buying while we are in a big uptrend, and then we had a big downward move. So, and everything is in the oversold territory. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to end the stream here so that I could get it up for you guys like really quickly, or at least as soon as I can. And then I'm going to start making my review video and probably look at a bunch of other coins. And also I need to actually like put trades on, because what I'm doing right now, or what I did right now, is I bought, but I didn't put the trades exactly in when it comes to stop levels or what do you call it, take profit levels. So I'm going to have to go back and redo that. I just bought because I could see it right now and didn't want to basically have the price go up and then not get as good of an entry. So I have to actually go in and put the exact stop loss levels in, put the exact take profit levels in. Otherwise, they will be investments or just long-term holds, and they won't necessarily be real trades. So that's always important. If you do buy things, go back in and just very level-headed and use your technical analysis, cheat sheet to just go through the steps and go through your process to put in your entry, your stop loss, your take profit, and know what your game plan is, because that's the most important thing, knowing what the game plan is. And that way you're ready for whatever happens, whether it crashes, whether it goes up, and you're ready. So that's all that I'm going to say for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Remember, keep on stacking those sats, keep on making those gains, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.